Beneath this cracked and lonely earth, something enormous has been waiting for 66 million years. A team of fossil hunters is racing against time, weather, and crumbling stone to uncover the remains of the most feared predator to ever walk the planet. This is the Tyrannosaurus rex, 7 tons of muscle, bone, and bad intentions. But everything you think you know about this monster is about to be rewritten. Because deep in the badlands, scientists have found something almost nobody has ever seen before. Proof of a Tyrannosaurus that hadn't grown up yet. This is one of the richest dinosaur graveyards on the planet, a stretch of eroding rock known to scientists as the Lance Formation. 66 million years ago, this dry, dusty basin was a warm, swampy coastline, teeming with life. Today, it's one of the last places on Earth where you can still find direct physical evidence of how the king of the dinosaurs actually lived. Not just its bones, but its footprints, frozen forever in ancient mud. Field paleontologist. Look at this, 3 toes, a sharp claw mark, and a heel pad. This animal was walking right through here like it owned the place, because it did. There are only a handful of confirmed Tyrannosaur trackways known anywhere in the world. To preserve this one forever, the team scans it in 3D, turning fragile rock into a permanent digital record they can study for decades. But when they run the numbers on the print size, something doesn't add up. A full-grown T-Rex footprint stretches nearly a meter, roughly the length of a baseball bat. This one is barely half that, which means this footprint wasn't left by a king. It was left by a teenager, a young Tyrannosaurus somewhere around 10 to 12 years old, still years away from claiming its throne. And that discovery matters more than you think. Paleontologists have unearthed dozens of adult T-Rex skeletons, but juveniles, those are almost impossible to find. Field paleontologist. Baby and teenage dinosaurs had thinner, more delicate bones. They just didn't survive 66 million years the way an adult's did. Every juvenile fossil we find is like finding a missing page from history. And what that missing page reveals is a completely different animal. Where the adult T-Rex was a slow, bone-crushing tank, the juvenile was something else entirely. Lean, fast, built like a sprinter. This wasn't a smaller version of the king. This was a completely different kind of hunter. Not far from the juvenile's trackway, the team finds a second set of prints. 3 wide, spreading toes deeply pressed into the same layer of mud. A hadrosaur, a massive plant-eater that could weigh over 7 tons, roughly the size of a school bus, and moving in herds for safety. Predator and prey walking across the exact same ground, possibly within hours of each other. By measuring the distance between each footprint, the stride length, scientists can reconstruct exactly how fast each animal was moving 66 million years after the fact. The hadrosaur cruising at a steady 5 kilometers per hour. The juvenile Tyrannosaur behind it nearly double that speed. If you're a hadrosaur, you don't get much warning. You're basically waiting to spot something the size of a delivery truck sneaking up behind you. And it may not have been hunting alone. Fossil sites containing multiple tyrannosaurs, juveniles and adults together, suggest these animals may have hunted in loosely organized groups. If one T-Rex chasing you sounds terrifying, imagine an entire family closing in from different directions. Speed alone doesn't make a killer. The real question is, could a teenage T-Rex actually finish the job? To find out, researchers turned to an unusual tool, a forensic bite force press used to recreate ancient puncture wounds under controlled, measurable pressure. This fossil holds the clue, a hadrosaur tailbone with part of a Tyrannosaur tooth still buried inside it, proof that, at least once, the prey got away, but not before paying a price. By matching the depth and shape of lab-made puncture marks to the real wound, scientists can calculate almost exactly how much force made it. The result? A juvenile T-Rex bite strong enough to out-crunch a modern lion. Not yet strong enough to crack the thickest bones like a grown adult could, but more than strong enough to make it a serious, bone-splintering threat. When a T-Rex first hatched, it was roughly the size of a house cat, slim, quick, practically defenseless. But something happened in its teenage years that turned this lean little sprinter into the most powerful land predator that has ever existed. By studying growth rings inside fossilized bones, much like counting rings in a tree trunk, scientists have tracked an explosive growth spurt. In just 4 years, a teenage T-Rex could pack on over 4 tons of bone and muscle. That's roughly the weight of a fully grown African elephant, added in less time than most people spend in high school. Field paleontologist, picture an Olympic sprinter slowly turning into a heavyweight boxer over the course of a few years. That's basically what happened to T-Rex. It traded speed for raw, devastating power. As the skull widened and the jaw muscles grew massive, something strange happened up front. The arms stayed tiny, almost comically small compared to the rest of the body. It wasn't a design flaw, it was a trade-off. Every ounce of extra weight and power was redirected into one place, the bite. The head became the ultimate weapon, so the arms simply weren't needed anymore. Not every meal came easy. Some prey came fully armored, built like walking tanks. This is a nodosaur, thick blade-like armor plating an adult T-Rex couldn't safely bite into from above without risking its own mouth. But this fossilized hip bone tells a different story. A single, precise puncture matching the exact shape of a T-Rex tooth, driven straight through the only unprotected spot on the entire animal, its soft underside. This wasn't brute force, this was strategy, proof that T-Rex wasn't hunting on instinct alone, it was hunting with a plan. And then there was the one opponent every T-Rex feared, Triceratops. Nearly a meter of horn, a thick bone frill for a shield, and a temperament far closer to an angry rhino than a passive grazer. Field paleontologist, we've found healed bite wounds on Triceratops bones, meaning some of these animals fought off a T-Rex attack and lived to tell the tale. If you're a young T-Rex, a full-grown Triceratops was not a fight you picked. That was strictly adult business. Back at the Badlands dig, the team carefully wraps their newest find, a massive fossilized limbo in plaster, protecting it for the long journey out of the rock that has held it for 66 million years. Piece by piece, this lost world is coming back into focus. For millions of years, this was as good as it got for a T-Rex. A thriving, complex world it sat at the very top of, from teenage sprinter to armored, bone-crushing king. But 66 million years ago, that world ended in an instant. A piece of rock nearly the size of Mount Everest, moving faster than a rifle bullet, slammed into the planet with the force of billions of nuclear bombs. Shockwaves, firestorms, tsunamis, and then a curtain of dust and ash that blocked out the sun for months, maybe years. Today, that moment is marked by a thin, dark line of clay found in rock layers all over the world, packed with a rare element that could only have come from space, a permanent bookmark closing the chapter on the age of dinosaurs. 3 out of every 4 species on Earth vanished, including the mightiest of them all. But in the chaos, something small and unnoticed made it through. Tiny, burrowing mammals, creatures that had spent 150 million years hiding in the shadow of animals like T-Rex, quietly survived what the giants could not. Without that asteroid, there may never have been room for them to thrive. And without them, there may never have been room for us. And if you're looking for the closest living relative of the T-Rex today, you don't need a fossil at all. Just look up. Birds are dinosaurs, direct descendants of the same family tree that once produced the most feared predator on the planet. In that sense, the age of dinosaurs never really ended. It just learned how to fly. This season's dig may be over, but every bone, every footprint, every fossilized tooth pulls this ancient king a little further out of the shadows and a little closer to being truly understood. The full story of the Tyrannosaurus rex is still being written, one fossil at a time. If this journey into the world of the king of the dinosaurs blew your mind, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next lost beast we uncover, and drop a like if you want more deep dive fossil documentaries like this one. Now here's a question for you. If you could bring back just one prehistoric creature to study alive today, completely safely of course, which one would you choose and why? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and I might feature the best answers in our next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next Lost World.